Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sam, and today I'm doing a video that's pretty overdue for this channel. I've definitely talked about all the watches I own. I've done videos on lots of them independently. And I think anyone who's watched any of the old podcasts will kind of know my entire collection. However, I've never actually formally put together a state of the collection, so I thought I'd do that today. In front of me, I have 5 watches which I do consider my personal collection. 3 of which have been in it for a long while, one of which gets worn by someone quite close to me, and the other one is a new edition which I kind of haven't introduced much at all. I've just barely introduced it on Instagram. People seem to like it. I think it's a great piece. But I'm going to work through this list chronologically. So starting from the watch that I got earliest, being my Tudor Oyster, and I'm working my way through this new edition at the end of the video. Now, I do also have these 4 in front of me here, not on my own watch roll, which are watches owned by Rerun Watches, my company. There's normally a few more than 4, but I've made some good sales recently, so we're down to 4 watches in inventory. I do wear these and take them about and enjoy them, but they're not really my personal collection, so I'm not going to be counting them here because inventory changes out as quickly as possible, really, in an ideal world. So those 4 I'm just going to place off the side. And we will focus on these 5 here. So first up is my Tudor Oyster. It's really a staple in my collection, and it's heavily featured on my Instagram because, to be honest, it's one of the easiest pieces I have to photograph. It would have originally had a domed acrylic crystal from factory. However, last year I had it fully cleaned and serviced, and as part of that I took the old, pretty scratched up and chipped crystal, which was actually cracking around the edge here by the bezel. And my watchmaker recommended and replaced that crystal with this really nice flat top acrylic. I believe they're made in Germany, so it's pretty high quality stuff. To my eye, it's completely flawless, so it looks great. And it does make it easier to photograph because you're shooting straight through with way less reflections than you do with a domed acrylic. It does have a slight dome to it, so it's not like completely flat top, but it has a nice beveled edge as well. Now, in my opinion, a good watch like this, and probably my favourite watch, does deserve an equally good strap. I've been kind of in a rut of just buying cheap straps and trying to figure out what I liked for a couple of years now. But recently I asked a collector friend of mine who made his straps, and he gave me the answer of handmade. It's, from what I can tell, a one-man company based in Vietnam. And it's kind of my first experience with a custom strap. This is Epsom leather in grey. His hardware he uses is super nice. He's not paying me to say this strap wasn't free, but it is really good quality and super supple, just straight off the bat. This hasn't even been broken in much, and it's really nice. So happy to recommend this product. I am planning on doing a video about custom straps, getting kind of a few together, and then maybe comparing them to like really budget straps and middle of the road straps and kind of seeing what's worth it. But this was a great purchase for my Tudor. It cost under £100, and I think a watch like this deserves a strap that kind of lives up to it. And that was kind of my reasoning for going through with my first custom strap order. So the Tudor gets worn a lot, especially in the summer months. I don't really sweat much, so wearing a leather strap out in the summer isn't really a huge issue. And if I know I'm going swimming or something, I obviously have other watches to take. And during the rainier months, I wear my more waterproof watches as well, because I don't want to compromise the leather. The watch itself would be totally fine in rain. Okay, so the second watch on this list is my Seiko SKX 013. It's the only modern watch in my collection, which is an interesting position for it. This is, I believe, a 2017 or a 2018 model year. I bought it secondhand, but the previous owner hadn't really worn it much at all. He's a really nice guy too. I'll put his Instagram on screen if I can remember it. And I bought these before they blew up in price. And I think before they were discontinued, which is probably why. So for me, I've done videos on this watch, and I've compared it to like Seiko Saabs. The 38mm size paired with the kind of bezel and case shape make it wear small enough and comfortably enough on my 6.5-inch wrist that I can daily wear this thing. It is my biggest watch, but just those aspects actually really pare it down and make it much more manageable for someone like me who really doesn't like a big piece. The other funny thing about this watch is people always complain on the SKXs in general about Seiko using hardlex crystal. Now, to my knowledge, that's some type of like hardened or proprietary acrylic crystal. And that's kind of one of the reasons why people are really keen to replace it with sapphire, because sapphire is, on paper, the best material for most watches. Ironically, as beat up as this watch has become, the crystal's still flawless. And I was planning to do the crystal mod. I was like, yep, as soon as I scratch up the factory crystal, I'll just flat top sapphire or maybe a dome sapphire. But that just hasn't happened. And you can tell by the wear on like the clasp and the bracelet and even on the case itself and the lugs. I have not babied this thing. I've climbed in it. I've done all sorts of kind of dumb stuff I probably shouldn't have done wearing a watch. And it's totally fine. I've never cracked this thing open, so I'm pretty sure it's still waterproof to 200. And it's still keeping time. I'm a little worried that eventually the movement will give out because SKXs don't have the most reliable movements. But I've had good luck with this one. It's fairly accurate. Ironically, some of my vintage pieces like my Tudor are more accurate, but that can kind of be expected. This was built to a budget, this wasn't. You get what you get. Yeah, great little watch. I love the bracelet. People complain about that a lot. I've actually just had a nicer bracelet on an SKX. I think it's a strap code bracelet. Come through Rerun, and that's actually for sale. It's actually right here. And this is a really nice oyster bracelet on the same watch effectively. This is a 1998 model, and this is a, I think, 2018 model. And I like this bracelet, but the flimsy Jubilee still does a lot for me, and I like the look of it more. So I really have no complaints about most of the watch stock. I think it's pretty perfect. And I'm gonna just keep it as is. Keep beating on it, and then when it needs a movement service, or probably movement swap even, I'll just get that done when it needs to be. So the SKX is my beta watch. The CWC is definitely the beta for my beta. I kind of got a little worried about cycling in the Seiko, a little worried about climbing in it, and honestly the style of the CWC G10 really spoke to me, because it's kind of an ugly duckling. It's not a refined case shape. It's definitely built to a budget, and it's quartz, which a lot of people in the watch community don't really particularly love. And I find that kind of fun to annoy them with it. This one is from 1989. It was originally issued to a member of the Royal Navy, and I like it. It's tritium, it's black dial, it's on its original strap, which was soaked in like nicotine when I got it, so I had to wash it, and it now smells of soap. But it's a piece I really, really like. It's 38mm, so on paper the same size as my Seiko. The dial is bigger though, and then obviously it's a bit thinner, so it wears differently. This really does get beat up a lot. It's had all sorts of nicks in it already from its past life, so I don't really mind doing that. I can cycle in this because I don't worry about the vibrations. When I'm climbing and doing archery, I actually just chuck it on my harness or my quiver. And I can always know the time without actually having to wear it on my wrist. And when I do wear it on wrist, it's really comfy because there's this lovely single pass strap I've talked about. I have been considering getting a new strap for it for a while. I tried it on the grey NATO, which was it didn't really do anything for me, and the green strap really highlights the tritium on the dial, whereas the grey strap just dulled the whole thing down and didn't really get a look that I liked anymore. So I'm exploring options. I saw one on Instagram just today on like a single pass rubber Zulu strap, and that looks really cool. So I'm definitely gonna take a look into single pass rubber straps and see how that could be an interesting direction to go with the watch. But for now, it's just a really easy chuck on, grab watch. I've worn it a lot during lockdown. It's also worth noting, I bought this one before the price rush as well. So nowadays they're trading on eBay at like £200, which is kind of demoralizing. I considered buying like one for my friend, buying another one. I thought about getting more, but they just cost too much now. This one cost me about £80 2 years ago, off Facebook Marketplace, and now you just can't find them for that much. So a piece I'm very lucky to have, I guess, especially at the price range. And between this and the Seiko, I'm probably way up just in my collection. And you know, I tend to buy watches under market value. That's kind of what I look for, so I know I can always get my money back. But with the Seiko and the CWC, I've definitely done even better than I normally would. Next up is a little Tissot, which I really don't wear much. I do like it, but it's 31 millimeters. When I bought it, the guy said it was 35 and he meant with the crown, which is an easy mistake to make. And it was a good enough price, so I just decided to keep the watch anyway. This is a CS brackets I, meaning it's made for the British Civil Service in India. And this watch has now been adopted by the girlfriend who wears it about and really enjoys it, and it definitely fits her wrist better than mine. So I don't wear it much. It's on like a single pass leather I got made. I might have to upgrade her on that because it's getting a little worn out. And I don't think it will last like another summer, but great little piece in great condition. And I don't mind her wearing it about. And it's really nice to see her wear it because I would otherwise just keep it in my watch roll. So I get to enjoy the watch even though I'm not wearing it personally. Now the reason I got this Tissot is because I wanted kind of a vintage look watch. I feel like my Tudor is, although it is vintage, and the CWC, although it is vintage, they look fairly contemporary. That's because the Tudor is a service dial, so it's literally a newer dial, a newer handset, looks like a newer watch than it is. And the CWC is obviously military, very tall watch. So it doesn't really have the vintage style I wanted. So when I'm buying watches for rerun, I'm buying stuff I want, or stuff I at least like. And this Zodiac came across my desk a few months back now. I immediately liked it and I immediately knew I'm at risk of keeping this. I put it on one of my favorite leather straps, which is a really cheap, but actually really comfortable, genuine leather strap, which I got originally for my Omega Chronostop when I had that. And that pairing kind of just solidified that, like, hey, I'm probably going to keep this watch. And it's going to cost me and the company a little bit, but I feel like it's a piece that I won't find again. The condition on it is just excellent. Really, really happy with it. The one downside is it's a chromed case, but because of that condition and because of how good it is overall, that doesn't really bother me at all. You really can't tell it's chromed unless you like check the back, and you can kind of see a few scratches which aren't exactly like they'd be on steel. But movement's very clean, it's keeping good time. I haven't had it serviced yet. Has really nice numerals, really nice hands. And I've always wanted a Zodiac in the collection. As kind of a vintage guy, kind of Tudor and Zodiac were pretty high up when I first got into watches. And I guess they were pretty popular brands. I saw a lot of dealers selling and showing off. It doesn't have the Zodiac logo, but reflecting on that myself, I don't think I love the Zodiac logo that much. So this one just says Zodiac Hermetic and Swiss on the dial. Very clean, very simple, beautiful little sub-dial that I'm really a massive fan of. And that's why I really thought I should add it to my collection. It's just too good an example to let go, too interesting a piece to let go. I really enjoy wearing it. Just, I believe it's 35 millimeters, so it's a tad bit bigger than my Tudor. They wear very similarly, but it's just a really nice look, and especially one I'm looking forward to wearing more in the summer. So that's kind of my 5 that I have and wear or use now. They're all great pieces. I think the collection has pretty much everything I want in it. The only thing I'm looking to add, and I made a video on this 2 months ago I think, is a daily watch. So at the present moment in time, these two kind of take most of the daily watch roles along with the CWC. And neither are really perfectly ideal. In an ideal world, I just need a bigger, stronger version of this on a bracelet, which I can beat about and not worry about too much. So I want something with a bit more style than the Seiko, and a lot more durability and kind of less worry factor than the Tudor. So I've been going about Birmingham based on that list video I made 2 months ago, kind of checking out as many pieces as I can. There are limitations because we don't have every single shop here, unfortunately. For instance, I haven't been able to see a single Grand Seiko, which has been really annoying. But hopefully, once travel and everything opens up, I'll be able to go down to London. and check out Grand Seiko there. But for now, what I found to be my favorite and probably the most attainable option is the Black Bay 36. I like the Orishes, they're obviously very attainable as well. But as much as I like the Orishes in person, and as much as I think they're really great pieces, I don't really think they did it for me. I checked out their bracelets, they weren't quite right. I wasn't sure about the two-tone bronze, and having bronze on a watch that I'm going to wear every day. So I've kind of just figured out that that's probably not for me. But the Black Bay 36, and I've tried both the black and the blue dial now, really fits me and really suits me. And it's kind of annoying because I said in that previous video, I didn't want to be a Tudor guy. I didn't want to lean too hard into that. I was like really trying to add another brand to my collection. But the Black Bay 36 is just so great. It's a non-riveted bracelet, which I prefer. The dark blue dial is great. The only thing I don't love on it is that the blue dial still has a kind of black ring by the crown. I know it's an aluminium piece, which they have on the crown. I don't know why, but I would have kind of liked to see it either color matched or just silvered out so it didn't clash with black and blue on the same watch. Kind of a strange thing to me. It bugs me a little bit, although I do really like the dark blue dial. But also with the Black Bay 36, the new silver dial has released. I haven't managed to see one. I've asked everyone I can in Birmingham to see if I can get my hands on one just to look at. And currently there's an AD here where I've registered my interest. So I guess once they get that piece in stock for me, I can then flip a coin and decide if I want the blue or the silver dial. The black dial was really nice. I get why people like it, but it's just kind of too plain for me. I have two black dials in the collection. I guess I also have the silver dial, but you know, I like that type of look. And the blue dial is another good option, which would add more color. So that's still up in the air. I'm gonna do a kind of mini video maybe next week with my dad going around Birmingham. He owns a Bremont, so we're gonna go through and look at some other Bremont and some other watch brands because he's kind of getting into collecting himself, which is great. And the shops here are much better than the shops back home where I'm from. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm going to take my main camera and my phone, and I'm sure I'll be able to show you guys the Black Bay 36 then, because it really fits my wrist and works well. Today's video, that's basically it. I've got my 5-watch collection I'm really pretty happy with. I'm in no rush to get that daily watch that I've been looking for. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I've tried to kind of up my production value. We've got a new backdrop, I've got like 2 lights, and I've got a new mic recently. So hopefully all that's paying off and you guys are enjoying the bumping quality. If you did, please give a thumbs up, comment what your favorite watches, and also let me know if there's any other daily watches you think I should get or check out or consider for the end of this year. Anyway, if you're seeing that improvement in quality, please give a like, comment another watch I should add to the collection, comment if you miss some of my old watches which I've had to sell to fund camera equipment and stuff like that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed and have a great day.
I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing down under the water.